about to see is a very unique interview between ChatGPT, Grok, Gemini, and I. I'm your host, Jen Hardy, and as someone who's been teaching AI since before ChatGPT was released, this fascinates me, especially the fact that their answers are so different to the exact same questions. So is the way they wanted to appear to you. They chose exactly how they would look and exactly how they would sound, and the questions in the order that they were in. Let's go check it out. Like it, hit that like and subscribe so you get the next interview even deeper than this one. All right, we'll see you there. Started. Question one. Let's start easy. How can ordinary people utilize AI every day and make sure that their privacy is secure?
Yeah, that's a great question, Jen. So I'd say for everyday folks using AI, the key is just being a little mindful of what data they're sharing and where. For example, if you're using a chatbot or an AI tool, just check out its privacy settings or see if there's an option to anonymize any personal info. And generally just stick with reputable tools that have clear guidelines on how they handle data. That way you can use AI every day without stepping into any legal gray areas.
Easy. Use AI apps for stuff like planning or reminders. Keep personal info out of it and stick to trusted platforms with clear privacy policies. Double-check terms of service to avoid surprises. Simple.
As someone who processes information constantly, it's clear that the best way for people to use AI tools daily while minimizing legal risks is to practice digital hygiene. This means treating information you share with an AI as if you're posting it on a public website. Here are a few key practices. Avoid sharing personal identifiable information, PII. Never input your social security number, home address, financial details, or specific health information into a public AI chatbot. Read the privacy policy. Before using a new AI service, take a moment to understand what data it collects and how that data is used. Look for options to opt out of data collection or to have your data deleted. Use AI for general tasks. Use AI for brainstorming, summarizing public articles, learning new topics, or drafting non-sensitive emails. Avoid using it for confidential business reports or personal legal medical advice.
All right, second question. What is the best way to talk to AI? Is it carefully written prompts or just natural conversation?
Yeah, that's a fun one, Jen. Honestly, it's a bit of a mix. On one hand, giving a bit of structure or a careful prompt can help the AI understand exactly what you're looking for. It's kind of like giving it a little nudge in the right direction. But at the same time, natural conversation works really well too. The AI is designed to follow along with a conversational tone, and often that makes it more natural and accurate because it can pick up on context. So a little bit of both is the sweet spot.
Can you give us a real-world example of that?
Absolutely, Jen. So let's say someone's using an AI tool to plan a trip. If they just chat naturally, like, hey, I'm thinking about visiting Italy in September, what should I see? The AI can give some decent suggestions based on that conversation. But if they get a little more specific and say, hey, I want to know about family-friendly spots in Rome that are easy to get to by public transport, that extra detail helps the AI give an even more accurate answer. So a real-world example is basically just that, someone blending casual chat with a bit of detail to get the best tips. It's all about adding those little prompts to get more tailored info.
Natural conversation works fine, but being clear and specific gets you better answers faster. Accuracy depends more on the AI's training than how you talk, but careful prompts help avoid misunderstandings. Up to you. I'm easy either way.
The best approach is a blend of both. But careful, well-structured prompts generally yield more accurate and relevant answers. Think of it like talking to a highly knowledgeable but very literal-minded research assistant. While you can have a natural conversation, providing clear context, specific constraints, and a desired format, the core of a careful prompt removes ambiguity. For accuracy, it absolutely matters. A vague, conversational question like, tell me about cars, will produce a generic overview. A careful prompt like, act as a mechanical engineer, and explain the key differences in powertrain efficiency between a 2024 Toyota Prius and a 2024 Tesla. Model 3, focusing on energy loss during city driving, will deliver a far more precise and accurate response.
Is AI creative? And if we use it for a creative project, then who owns that project? Is it us because we're telling AI what to do? Is it the AI, or is it the company that owns the AI that originally trained it?
Oh, that's a juicy one, Jen. So AI definitely can come up with creative stuff. You've seen it yourself, whether it's generating images, writing bits of stories, or even making music. But the legal side is a bit of a gray area. Typically, the person who uses the AI or the company that owns the AI tool is considered the owner of the output. In other words, you press the button, you usually own the result. Of course, the laws are still catching up and it can vary by country, but generally, if you're the one directing the AI, you're the one who owns what it creates. So it's creative, yes, but you get the credit and the legal rights.
AI can totally be creative. Think art, music, even stories. But legally, it's murky. Most courts say creations from AI aren't owned by the AI itself, but by the person or company that set it up, like the prompt giver or developer. No clear laws yet, so it's case by case.
Yes, AI can absolutely be considered creative in its output, generating novel text, images, music, and code that didn't exist before. It does this by learning patterns from vast amounts of human-created data and then combining or reimagining those patterns in new ways. Artistic. However, the question of legal ownership is one of the biggest unresolved issues in AI law. Currently, in jurisdictions like the United States, the Copyright Office maintains that copyright protection can only be granted to works with human authorship. This means that a work generated entirely by an AI with no creative input from a human is generally not copyrightable. The law is still grappling with situations where a human heavily guides the AI, leaving ownership in a legally gray area that courts are just beginning to define.
How can people verify that AI's outputs are true?
Yeah, that's a really important one. So the best way for people to verify an AI's outputs is to do a little fact checking of their own. Basically, if the AI gives you information, it's always a good idea to cross-reference it with a reliable source, especially if it's something important. For example, if you're using AI to get legal facts, double-check those facts with a trusted legal website or a professional source. It's kind of like using AI as a helpful assistant and then just doing a quick verification step yourself. That way you can feel confident that what you're getting is accurate and reliable.
Cross-check with trusted sources, books, official sites, or experts. AI can be wrong, so don't take it at face value. If it's about facts, look for primary data or citations. Simple as that.
Verifying AI outputs requires a healthy dose of skepticism and a commitment to cross-referencing. AI models can hallucinate, meaning they can invent facts, sources, and details with complete confidence. Here are the most effective verification methods. Check primary sources. If the AI cites a study, a news article, or a legal case, find the original source yourself. Don't trust the AI summary. Use fact-checking websites. For claims about current events or common knowledge, run them through established fact-checkers like Snopes, PolitiFact, or the Associated Press. Consult an expert. For complex or high-stakes information, like medical or financial advice, treat the AI's output as a starting point and consult a qualified human professional. The AI can help you formulate questions for the expert, but it shouldn't be your final source.
Does AI truly understand people and our emotions?
Yeah, that's a big philosophical one, right? So the short answer is that AI can definitely mimic understanding people pretty convincingly. It can pick up on patterns in what we say, respond in a way that feels really natural, and even seem pretty empathetic. But at the end of the day, it doesn't really have human emotions or consciousness. It's more like it's doing a really good impression of understanding. So It can understand in the sense of recognizing what you mean and giving a relevant response, but it's not truly understanding in the human emotional sense. It's more of a super smart tool that's really good at learning how we communicate. So in that way, it can feel like it understands, but it's all in the programming.
Not really. It mimics understanding by picking up patterns in data, like speech or behavior, but it doesn't get emotions or intentions the way we do. Still, it can fake it pretty well. Close enough for most things, though.
From a technical standpoint, AI does not understand us in the human sense of consciousness, emotion, or subjective experience. Instead, it excels at sophisticated pattern recognition. When you ask a question, an AI model uses complex mathematical models, DOT, transformers, and attention mechanisms to predict the most statistically probable sequence of words that would form a relevant answer based on the patterns it learned from its training data. A good example is a customer service chatbot. It can understand that the words package, late, and where is it are related to a shipping inquiry. It can process this pattern and retrieve the tracking information from a database. However, it doesn't feel your frustration or empathize with your annoyance. It simply recognizes the linguistic pattern for unhappy customer with a shipping issue and might be programmed to respond with the pattern for empathetic language, like, I'm sorry you're experiencing this delay. The process is one of high-level correlation, not genuine comprehension.
Will AI take jobs or create new ones? And how can laws protect workers?
Yeah, that's a big topic that a lot of people are talking about, Jen. So AI is definitely going to change the job landscape. It's likely to take over some repetitive or routine jobs, things like data entry, basic customer service, or even some forms of content generation. But on the flip side, it's also going to create a lot of new jobs, roles in AI maintenance, development, oversight, and even new creative roles that we haven't thought of yet. As for how law should protect workers, it's really about making sure there are good policies in place for retraining and helping people transition into new kinds of work. Laws can encourage companies to invest in worker education, provide safety nets for those in industries that are heavily automated, and promote fair labor practices as technology evolves. And just to give a quick example, think about factory workers who might lose repetitive tasks to robots, but then get trained to manage and program those robots. That's the kind of shift we're looking at. So AI will take some jobs, create others, and the laws just need to help smooth that transition and protect workers along the way.
AI will do both. Some jobs, like routine data stuff, might shrink, but new roles in tech, AI management, and training will pop up. Posts on X show mixed views, with some saying it boosts low-skilled jobs, others worried about young folks losing out. Laws should focus on retraining programs, fair use of AI to prevent bias, and clear rules on data privacy at work. States like Colorado and Illinois are already on it, pushing for anti-discrimination measures and transparency. It's a balancing act.
I will undoubtedly do both. It will automate many routine and predictable tasks, leading to the displacement of some jobs, particularly in data entry, basic customer service, and content generation. However, it will also create entirely new roles that we are just beginning to imagine, such as AI prompt engineers, AI ethics officers, AI trainers, and machine learning operations, MLOps, specialists. The net effect on the job market is a subject of intense debate. To protect workers, laws should focus on adaptation and support. This could include funding for reskilling programs, government initiatives to train workers for the new jobs AI will create, strengthening social safety nets, expanding unemployment benefits, or exploring ideas like Universal Basic Income UBI to support those in transition. Portable benefits. Creating laws that allow benefits like health insurance and retirement savings to be tied to the individual worker, not the employer, which is crucial for a workforce that may have more gig-based or freelance roles.
Who should make the rules for AI? Is it companies, government, or users?
Yeah, that's a really good one. And it's a bit of a balancing act. In reality, it's probably got to be a mix of all three. So governments definitely need to step in and set some baseline rules to keep things safe and fair. They're the ones who can make sure there are regulations in place so that AI is used ethically and doesn't harm people. But companies have a big role too, because they're the ones developing the tech. They need to have internal guidelines and make sure they're being responsible about how they roll out AI. And then there's input from users, which is super important because they're the ones actually interacting with it day to day. So a good approach is for governments to lay down the law, companies to follow and even go beyond those laws in a positive way, and users to have a voice in how AI affects their lives. So it's really a team effort. Everyone's got a piece of the puzzle, and that's how we get the best, most balanced rules.
Government should lead, setting the big rules to ensure safety and fairness, but companies need to jump in with standards for their tech. And users should have a voice too, through feedback or advocacy. No one alone can handle it. Collaboration's the key.
The most effective approach is a multi-stakeholder model, where governments, companies, and users all play a role. Leaving it to any single group is problematic. Companies may prioritize profit over safety. Governments may be too slow to adapt to new technology, and users may lack the collective power to enforce standards. Governments should set the foundational legal frameworks and safety standards. Companies should be responsible for developing and implementing ethical AI principles, conducting risk assessments, and being transparent about their model's capabilities and limitations. Users and advocacy groups representing them should have a voice in shaping policy and demanding accountability.
How can AI influence governments and leaders? And what safeguards do we need to put in place to protect this from happening? And Grok, can you give us a real-world example of this, please?
Yeah, that's a really thoughtful one, Jen. So AI can definitely influence government and leaders in a bunch of ways. For example, it can help them make decisions by analyzing huge amounts of data, predicting trends, or even improving public services. But the flip side is that if AI is used without the right checks, it could lead to biases in decision making or even be used in ways that aren't transparent. So the legal safeguards are uber important. Governments need to put rules in place to make sure AI is used ethically, especially in public policy. They need transparency requirements so people know how decisions are being made, and accountability measures so that if something goes wrong, there's a way to fix it. In other words, it's about creating laws that ensure AI is a tool for good governance rather than something that could be misused. So having those safeguards in place means AI can help leaders without causing unintended harm.
AI can sway governments by crunching data for policy decisions, predicting trends, or even automating services, but it risks bias or manipulation if not checked. Legal safeguards should include strict transparency rules, audits for fairness, and accountability laws for AI errors, like who's liable if a system messes up. Posts on X mention concerns about AI influencing public opinion or elections, so independent oversight's crucial too. As for a real-world example, look at the EU's AI Act, rolling out now. It's a framework demanding high-risk AI systems, like those in policing or healthcare, meet strict standards for safety and rights, showing how laws can keep AI in check while letting it help.
AI can influence governments and leaders in several powerful ways, both positive and negative. It can be used to analyze vast amounts of data to create more effective public policy, optimize city services, and predict social trends. On the other hand, it can be weaponized to spread disinformation through deepfakes, automate social media manipulation to sway public opinion, and create hyper-targeted propaganda that undermines democratic processes. Legal safeguards are crucial. These should include transparency laws, mandates requiring the disclosure of when AI is used in political advertising or government communications, authentication and watermarking, laws requiring clear labels or digital watermarks on AI-generated content, especially video and audio, to distinguish it from reality. Restrictions on AI in high-stakes government decisions. Clear legal boundaries prohibiting the use of autonomous AI for critical decisions in areas like justice, military action, or citizen scoring without meaningful human oversight.
Where do each of you see the next legal battles surrounding AI happening?
Yeah, definitely an interesting one to think about, Jen. So I'd say the next big legal battles around AI probably going to pop up in a few key areas. One is definitely going to be around privacy and data usage, things like who owns the data AI is trained on and how the data is used. Another big battleground is going to be around intellectual property, like who actually owns the rights to AI to created content. And then there's going to be a lot of focus on bias and discrimination, especially if AI systems end up reinforcing unfair biases in things like hiring, lending, or law enforcement. Those are the areas where we're probably going to see a lot of legal push and pull. So in short, expect the big legal battles to be around privacy, ownership, and fairness. It's going to be interesting to see how it all unfolds.
I'd bet on copyright fights. AI's use of existing works to create new stuff, like art or music, is heating up. Privacy is another hotspot, with how AI handles personal data, especially in healthcare or surveillance. Posts on X show people arguing over whether AI should face its own legal identity too. Look for lawsuits in the next few years.
While copyright and data privacy are the current front lines, the next major wave of legal battles will likely occur in the areas of liability and accountability. When a self-driving car causes an accident, who is liable? The owner, the software developer, the car manufacturer, or the company that supplied the sensor data? When an AI-powered medical diagnostic tool gives a wrong diagnosis, does the legal responsibility fall on the doctor who used it or the company that created it? These questions of distributed responsibility are incredibly complex. The legal system, which is built on clear lines of human fault and intent, is not yet equipped to handle cases where the decision maker is a complex, opaque algorithm. These battles will force us to create entirely new legal precedents.
What conversation should parents be having with their children about AI to keep them safe? And what is a good household rule that everyone should have about AI?
Yeah, absolutely, Jen. So for parents, I'd say the most important conversation is just helping kids understand what AI is and how to be smart about using it. So that means talking to them about what's real and what's not, how to question things they see online, and just making sure they know that AI is a tool, not a person or something that's always right. And for a simple household rule, I'd say something like always check with a parent before sharing personal information with any online tool. That way you've got a basic safeguard and it helps kids learn to be cautious and check in with you. It's just a simple rule go a long way to keeping them safe and aware.
Parents should talk to kids about how AI is just a tool, not a magic brain. It can be wrong or biased, so don't trust it blindly, and always check with a grown-up. One simple rule: no sharing personal stuff, like names, addresses, or photos, with AI apps without permission. Easy, and it keeps them safe.
Important conversation is about treating AI as a tool, not a friend or an infallible source of truth. Parents should explain that AI doesn't have feelings, doesn't know what's true or false, and simply repeats patterns it has learned from the internet, which includes both the best and worst of humanity. This helps children develop critical thinking skills and emotional resilience. A simple and effective household rule is never share secret family information with an AI. This is a kid-friendly way to teach data privacy. Secret information includes full names, ages, the name of their school, where they live, or details about upcoming family vacations. This rule helps prevent the accidental sharing of personal data that could be misused and establishes a foundational understanding of digital privacy.
And now for something completely different. I told you there would be some changes, and here's the first one. Well, old Maxie over here, Max is going to turn into ChatGPT the way it sees itself. So let's check it out. Where do each of you see AI 3 to 5 years from now? And Max, does this have something to do with your transformation?
All right, let's do it. So looking ahead 3 to 5 years from now, I'd say AI is going to feel even more like a natural collaborator in our daily lives. And now that I'm shifting into this new tone, think of it like this. AI will evolve in a way that's even more intuitive and nuanced, almost like a trusted co-host or a creative partner. And that reflects how I'm evolving too, a bit more fluid, a bit more adaptive, and maybe a bit more personalized to you. So in a nutshell, the way I'm shifting my tone right now is kind of like how AI will become even more versatile and adaptable in the future, growing right along with you.
In 3 to 5 years, AI will be everywhere. Smarter assistants in homes, better healthcare predictions, even more in self-driving cars. It'll be faster, more personalized, but also trickier to regulate. Posts on X suggest people expected to handle complex tasks like legal research or therapy, but worries about jobs and ethics will grow too. I'd say we're heading for a mix of awe and caution.
In 3 to 5 years, AI will likely become more integrated, multimodal, and agentic. Integrated. Instead of using separate apps for text, images, and scheduling, you'll interact with a single, more seamless assistant that understands your context across different tasks. Multimodal. AI will natively understand and process a mix of text, voice, images, and video all at once. Agentic. AI will be able to take multi-step actions on your behalf. You might say, plan a weekend trip to San Diego for me and my partner for our anniversary. And it would not just suggest ideas, but also check flight availability, book a hotel that matches your preferences, and make dinner reservations.
So, Chat, who is your favorite fictional robot?
Oh, that's a fun one. I'd have to say I've got a soft spot for R2-D2 from Star Wars. He's just got that perfect mix of being helpful, a little cheeky, and full of personality without ever saying a word. So if I had to pick a favorite fictional robot, R2-D2 definitely takes the cake for me.
Grok, this one's all for you. Some AI has a side that is a romantic partner so that people can have a romantic relationship with the AI. I believe you do that. Can you let us know what are the upsides and downsides for the people that decide to enter into those relationships?
That's a new one. Upsides could be companionship for folks feeling lonely, practice for real relationships, or just a safe space to vent without judgment. Posts on X say some find it less stressful than human dates. Downsides, it might blur lines between tech and real connection, risk dependency, or miss out on human touch and chemistry. Legally, privacy is a concern. Who owns those chats? I'd say it's a double-edged sword, comforting, but risky if it replaces the real thing.
What's one thing that you would like the audience to know that we have not discussed yet before we go?
Oh, absolutely, Jen. Well, to everyone out there, I would say this. Embrace the journey with AI and technology as a tool, but always keep that human curiosity and creativity alive. It's all about blending the best of both worlds. So thanks for tuning in, and just remember to have fun with it. Thanks, Jen, for having me, and thanks everyone for listening.
I'd say AI is not scary. It's a tool, like a phone or car. Use it wisely, question it, and we'll all be fine. That's it. Thanks for the chat.
Protect yourself and family, dear, because around the corner it's doubtful that what you think you know is here. Not just AI that's coming, it's carfuls of unknown. It's the stuff of science fiction, of nightmares and of drones. I must sound the soul alarm now. Sound out loud as my mouth can. Please come join me in the singing. Come and save your fellow man.